Alrighty, we're going to be putting a extension box on this, and we're going to be putting a light switch over here so they can be turning on and off a light that's in the showroom window here. This white wire is around the screw backwards here. We're going to pull all our wires down and make sure all our wires are into our Wagos properly up here. Which they all are. That's our neutral. This is where our black feed wire is going to go to our white switch wire, so I'll pull this one out. And we'll just get our ground wire down here so we can hook up into it. So we'll open up our knockout here, and we'll put our NEC cable clamp on here. We'll use this type here. Make sure it's on here nice and tight. And it goes in bayonet like right there, and you slide it in on this one. So we'll just set this up here. what a joy it is to get that screw in, so I have to loosen this up. Snug. Nice and tight. Take our MC cable cutter here. We'll put our cable into our cutter like this here. Like that there. And we'll just squeeze it and turn until there's no more resistance, and we'll just loosen up our nut here. We'll just untwist this and pull it off like this. I want to make sure I don't pull. Here we are on the other end. Now I'll take my cutters and I'll cut our sharp edge off here like this. And I'll stick our anti-short bushing down into here like this. Make sure it gets down in nice and seated like that there. I'll use a little bit of electrical tape to hold our bushing in place here. So we have the black feed wire is going to go to this white switch wire. So what we're going to have to do is take a little bit of our red tape here and remark it live. So our white wire is going to go into that Wago there with the black live wire. So I'm going to take off about a ½ inch here. Make sure our end is nice and straight. So when we put it in the Wago, we get a good connection. We'll strip off about a little bit more because this black wire is going to go onto our outlet. And I'll strip our green wire to go into the Wago with the ground. So now we can stick our wires into our box here. nice and secure. We got our cable all nice and secured, coming down to where our switch is going to be. So we'll cut our cable to put our switch in. So we'll put our thing on here like this. And we'll just turn it till we don't feel any resistance. There it is. Twist it off like that. And we'll clip our sharp edge off here. And we have a bushing that's built into our connector like this. You can see the red bushing in there. But I'm going to go ahead and put a bushing in here because I'd rather be safe than sorry and put one in. Okay, so we'll stick our bushing in here. Well, okay, so now we'll slide this onto our wire. You just slide it on like this and just push it and you hear the little Barbies snap inside. You hear them snap in there. Put our box on here. Our box will just snap in like that. And we can just screw this onto our wall. Get it nice and straight here. So we have to bond our ground wire to the box. We have our green screw here. We'll put it up where our hole is. So we'll strip some of our ground wire off like this here. And we'll strip the end to put around our green screw on the switch. Okay, so we got to make our loop the direction our screw is going to turn here. And we'll bring it down and we'll shape it. We'll get it around our green screw here in the back of our box. Close it, make sure our insulation is not pinched under the screw head. Okay, that's what we want here. And we'll have to remark this white wire live again with our red tape. And since it's a single pole switch, it doesn't matter which screw wire goes on the top or the bottom of the switch. We're going to have to shorten this top screw because we don't want to hit the connector here. So we'll take and we'll just clip it a little shorter like that. So you always put your wire around the screw the direction your screw turns. Make sure it's nice and tight. Put your wire around the screw the direction your screw turns. Make sure it's nice and tight and we have a good connection like this here. Our copper is under the screw head all the way around and our insulation is not pinched under the screw head. And we'll come down here, we'll get our ground wire around our green screw. It's nice and tight. Okay, now we can fold our wires into our box. Make sure nothing gets pinched. Make sure our screws aren't going to hit the wires there. Finish that by hand so we don't strip our screws out. Make sure no wires are stressed anywhere. Okay, nothing is stressed. I pulled on the wires on the rounded part of the screwdriver. The sharper edges was plenty of ways away from the wire. So now we're ready to come up here and hook our outlet up. Okay, so this is our black wire coming from the source. So we're going to take that black power from the source and we'll go into our Wago here and connect it to our white switch wire. But I got to make sure that wire is all nice and straight before I push it in there. So just push it in here with our, make sure all three of our coppers are down to the bottom and our insulation is up at the top. So now we can push this up into our box, get it all up out of our way here. We'll get our ground wire. We'll put it in here with our ground wires. Push it in. Okay, I'll look and make sure all our copper is coming down to the bottom of our Wago, and we'll push that up into our box. And now we have our three wires hooked to our outlet here. Now this loop was kind of small and sloppy, so I'm going to make it bigger and do it the right way. And some of that insulation was under our screw head too. You always put your wire around the screw, the direction your screw turns. So we'll start with our ground wire. Put it up here in the country I was born in. Your white wire goes on the silver screw, which is the wider slot on top. Your black wire goes on the brass screw, which is the narrower slot down here on the bottom. And your bare green wire goes on that green screw. Okay, we got it nice and tight. We got a nice connection here. We'll put our white on the silver colored screw here. Make sure our insulation is not caught under our screw head and our copper is under the screw head all the way around and our insulation is not pinched. So we'll flip it over this way and we'll get our black wire onto our brass colored screw. Okay, it looks like our insulation is going to get pinched, so I'm going to have to pull it out and do it again. There we go. Make sure it's nice and tight and our copper's not, our insulation's not pinched under our screw head, and our we have a good connection, our wires are on the screw the right direction. So now we can just take and push this up into our box. I'll just use a regular longer screw here and make sure it's not going to hit any wires. And we'll get a shorter one for back here. Okay, we found some screws. Tighten that one up. Okay, center it on our box. That's nice flat here. And we'll cut another screw here to make it fit so we don't get our connector there. Well, if I lost it, I lost it. I don't care. I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to get frustrated. Just grab another one. I'll just tighten this up. Look, make sure no wires are pinched anywhere. And we'll put our cover back up here. Okay, now let's stick our cover on our light switch here. Alright. And we'll have to go get another screw if we have one. We'll put it in. If we don't, we'll just have to do it off camera when we find it. We don't get upset. We don't get frustrated. Well, fortunately, we found a screw for our switch plate. Okay, so this is our polarity tester. We'll stick it into our outlet and verify it works properly. Plug it in. And our two orange lights are lit, so our outlet is wired correctly. Peace. Thanks for watching.